Episode 7 of Lucky brings Lucky's main conflict with Whittaker to a head while also forcing her to make a final decision about her father. Lucky enters the meeting with a plan to trade the stolen fortune for her freedom, but things quickly become more complicated when she discovers that someone inside the FBI has been working for Whittaker. At the same time, memories from Lucky's childhood reveal why she has finally decided that she can't continue living the way John taught her. The episode opens with a flashback of John preparing young Lucky for another scam. Lucky is worried about what might happen, but John tells her that everything will work out. This short scene is important because it shows how Lucky learned to trust John even when she was afraid. As a child, she depended on him to keep her safe, so she accepted his decisions without fully understanding the danger he was putting her in. The episode later connects these memories to Lucky's recurring dream about drowning. The swimming pool becomes a symbol of her childhood because it represents a moment when John put the success of a scam above her safety. In the present, Lucky travels with Agent Rand to meet Whittaker. The FBI's plan is simple. Lucky must get Whittaker to admit his involvement in the criminal operation before handing over the cryptocurrency. Lucky appears calm, but she knows that one mistake could get her killed. The meeting is therefore not just about the money. Lucky is trying to turn the situation around so that she can finally escape the people who have controlled her life. When Whittaker asks for the money, Lucky reveals that it has been converted into cryptocurrency and that she's the only person who knows the seed phrase. This gives Lucky the strongest position she has had throughout the series. The money is no longer something everyone else can simply take from her. It becomes her protection. However, Lucky also makes it clear that she doesn't actually want to keep living this way. The fortune represents her chance to leave the criminal world, rather than simply becoming richer inside it. This is important because the series has repeatedly shown that the money brings more problems than freedom. Everyone who tries to control it ends up hurting someone else. Lucky now understands that keeping the money could mean staying connected to the same world she's trying to escape. Lucky soon reveals that Whittaker already knew about the FBI's plan because Kershaw has been secretly working for him. Rand immediately turns against Kershaw, but the situation quickly becomes violent. The reveal shows that Lucky's suspicion was correct. She had already noticed that Whittaker seemed to know too much about their movements. The betrayal also shows how difficult it is to know who can be trusted in Lucky's world. She has spent her entire life learning to read people because trusting the wrong person can be dangerous. In this situation, that instinct helps her see something the FBI missed. Whittaker then brings out a badly beaten John. He understands that Lucky's biggest weakness isn't the money. It's her father. Whittaker threatens to kill Lucky while making John watch. He gives Priscilla the gun and tells her to deal with the situation herself. For Lucky, this is especially important because her entire life has been shaped by her relationship with John. She has spent years protecting him, even when he was responsible for many of her problems. Whittaker knows that putting John's life in danger will make Lucky hesitate. Priscilla appears ready to kill Lucky, but instead she turns the gun on Whittaker. She then kills the men protecting him, while Dutch helps her deal with the remaining attackers. Priscilla's decision is partly about Carrie. Whittaker treated Carrie as disposable and showed little concern for his death. Priscilla finally realizes that continuing to obey him means allowing the same man who destroyed her family to control her future. Her decision also completes an important part of her character arc. Priscilla spent years believing that power came from controlling other people. Whittaker shows her that she was never truly in control because he could discard her whenever she stopped being useful. When she tells Whittaker that he should have been a better father, she isn't only talking about Carrie. She's also recognizing the damage caused by the kind of parenting built around control and fear. After Whittaker is dead, Lucky and John are brought back to Priscilla. Lucky asks Priscilla for the chance to leave that she never had. Surprisingly, Priscilla agrees. She allows Lucky and John to leave with the money and tells them never to return. This moment connects Priscilla and Lucky. Both women have been trapped by powerful men and criminal systems, but Priscilla now chooses not to continue that cycle with Lucky. The money also takes on a different meaning here. Earlier, it represented greed, power, and danger. Now Priscilla allows Lucky to keep it as a final connection to Carrie and as a chance to build a different life. Although Lucky has escaped Whittaker, she still has one final problem: John. While they're eating together, John starts talking about what they should do with the money. He assumes that Lucky will continue their old life, but she tells him that she's finished. This is where the episode's emotional conflict becomes clear. Lucky has spent her entire life trying to earn her father's approval and protect him, but she finally understands that staying with John means remaining connected to the life she wants to leave behind. John doesn't understand this at first because he still sees their relationship through the world they built together. For him, the scams are part of their shared history. For Lucky, they're also the reason she never had a normal childhood. The swimming pool becomes one of the episode's strongest symbols. Lucky remembers being forced by John to jump into a pool even though she couldn't swim. John was using the situation to carry out a scam against the hotel, and he was willing to risk his daughter's safety to make it work. This memory explains why Lucky has spent so much of her life feeling like she's drowning. She was raised in situations where she was constantly expected to survive dangers she never chose. The pool also represents John's parenting. He taught Lucky that the only way to survive was to jump into danger and figure things out later. As an adult, Lucky has become very good at doing exactly that, but she now realizes that surviving isn't the same as living. The next morning, John discovers that Lucky has left him a message through the teddy bear. She tells him about the swimming pool and explains why she can't continue living the way he taught her. Lucky doesn't tell John that she hates him. Instead, she tells him that she loves him but will not see him again. This is an important distinction. Lucky isn't rejecting her father because she stopped loving him. She's leaving because she finally understands that loving him doesn't mean sacrificing her own life for him. She also refuses to give him the money. However, she gives him his freedom by leaving him behind instead of trying to control his life. For the first time, Lucky chooses herself. The teddy bear has a different meaning in this episode because it carries both the seed phrase and Lucky's final message to John. Earlier, the bear represented Carrie's love and the secret that gave Lucky access to the fortune. Now it becomes a way for Lucky to communicate with John without facing him directly. That is important because Lucky needs to say goodbye without being pulled back into their old relationship. The bear allows her to take control of the conversation and leave before John can convince her to stay. The episode ends with Rand discovering a package on her desk containing the laptop and the cryptocurrency account, along with the seed phrase. This shows that Lucky hasn't simply disappeared with the fortune. She has chosen to give Rand access to it. The decision suggests that Lucky understands the money is still connected to the crimes that caused so much damage. Instead of keeping it all for herself, she gives Rand what she needs to continue the investigation. It also shows that Lucky's idea of freedom has changed. At the beginning of the series, freedom meant escaping with the money. By the end, freedom means letting go of the things that kept her trapped. The final shot shows Lucky standing at the beach, smiling peacefully. This is a simple but important contrast with the swimming pool from her childhood. The pool represented fear and being forced into danger. The ocean represents something much larger, but this time Lucky is standing beside the water by her own choice. She's no longer being pushed into it by John. She's not running from someone. She's simply standing there, free to decide what her path is going forward. The ending therefore suggests that Lucky has finally escaped the cycle that shaped her. She still carries the damage from her past, but she no longer has to live according to it. The finale is ultimately about Lucky choosing what kind of life she wants. She defeats the people chasing her, gains her freedom from Priscilla, and finally accepts that she can't save John without hurting herself in the process. Her decision to leave him is painful, but it's also the first decision she makes entirely for herself. The final image of Lucky at the beach completes that idea. After spending her life being told where to go and what to do, she finally has the freedom to choose her own path. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.